My name is Dianelli. I'm Max's mom. I always have that memory holding Max in our arms for the first time and just in that moment thinking 18, 20, 30 years down the line, all the possibilities of Max growing up and the kind of little boy he would be and the man he would grow into. So Max was born and like every new parent, we made some mistakes and it was a learning curve and all the fun stuff. And I remember going to one of his appointments with his pediatrician, and the doctor was saying, he's doing everything great, but for some reason his moral reflex is not quite there. Maybe you guys should go see a neurologist just to be safe. And so we didn't think anything of it. My family's in the medical industry. I have an uncle who's an anesthesiologist at Nicholas Children. I remember calling him and he, told us who to go see and not to worry that these things happen. So we saw the doctor and he checked him out. He's like, oh no, the moral reflex is there. And as he was passing Max back to me, Max did a motion. Why don't you guys make an appointment to do an EEG? He's like, it's nothing major. We just want to check on some things. So we did. Max had that EEG, and I remember that day so vividly. I remember the technician being all happy because she knew our uncle and we were talking. She's doing the imaging, she's starting to get quiet, and she told us she'd be right back. A resident came in, kind of looked at the computer screen, also told us to wait 1 minute, he'll be right back. And then my uncle shows up out of nowhere, which kind of took my husband and I by surprise. And he was like, hey guys, why don't you step into this other room for a minute? The nurse will stay with Max. And the neurologist shows up and he tells us that Max was suffering from infantile spasms and it could be very fatal. They did blood work, they did 2 spinal taps on him, they put him on a 24-hour video EEG. They were trying all sorts of medicines to see what could help stop the infantile spasms. And then I remember them telling me, okay, we're gonna put him on this steroid. Unfortunately, infantile spasms, there's no cure for, but this one steroid is, if it works, then it can cure it. But if it doesn't, then there's nothing else. And that was it. They sent us home after 5 days of testing. And we all of a sudden were thrown into this world that we had no idea how to navigate. There was no manual on this. There's no reference materials. There's no one there to support. It's just like, here you go. This is what's going on with your child. Good luck, have fun. From that point on, it's been a journey. It's been a very hard journey on navigating this world, and it's a very lonely world sometimes. It took me some time to really accept what was happening, because I just kept hoping this would go away or something would come and make this go away. And I didn't want to research, I didn't want to learn about any of it because I just didn't want to accept. So my light bulb moment came 6 months after receiving the diagnosis. My husband was working from home at the time. He had his own business, and so to allow me to continue going to work, he would go to the hospital a lot with Max and, be there while I was at work, and then we would kind of switch at night so he could go home and rest. And I'll never forget, Max was admitted. I get to the hospital and my husband just looks so distraught, and I ask him, what's going on? He's like, no, the doctors were in earlier and I had to ask them, what they saw in Max's future, like what's the long term for this? And they essentially told him that there is almost as if there is no hope, that the chances of Max surviving this is very slim. I've never seen my husband so broken and lost, and something just snapped in me. I can't explain it. It was that moment that I'm like, no, this can't be it. Enough is enough. And so I remember the next day calling in the same doctors and nurses, and I asked them about what they said to my husband. Like, well, yeah, of course, he asked the question and we're trying to be as honest. And I remember just cutting them off and saying, no, you've already, before you even giving my son a chance, you've already given up on him, and we have not. And if you are not going to fight for him like we are fighting for him, then you need to get out of this room. And it was in that moment that I truly became an advocate for my son. And I started researching his condition. I started researching the genetic mutation that we finally learned about, which was SCN8A. It took me 5 minutes of putting in the diagnosis to find not only 2 support groups that are already established, but also multiple doctors that specialize in this mutation. And I remember one doctor said, hey, I think you would really benefit from this support group that's on Facebook, which is, it's not many, but it involves parents who have children with this mutation. And I remember getting in that group and I found home. I found people who were going through the same exact things we were going through, who were trying to navigate this life as best as they can, walking all circles of life, from all over the world. And from there, our battle to help Max really began. We just realized more and more there's just not enough support for families in the special needs community. I don't want anyone to experience the things that we did. I don't want any other child to have to be a guinea pig. And so that's where the Mad Max Foundation kind of was established. We knew we wanted to create an organization that would support families and caregivers and the SCA patients and even the special needs community. Max has a little brother, Zach. He is the most amazing little brother on this planet. He loves and adores his brother, and unfortunately there's nothing out there for him to help support him through this journey. And we've had to kind of help him navigate it. And so we would love to see a world where even the siblings are supported through this.
My one wish for Max is to feel better, so that way he can get to do a lot of stuff that he never got to do with me. Max can't do this alone. We need your help right now.
This is a call to arms. If you are hearing this, you are the resistance. Max can't fight this battle alone. Him and his army can't fight this battle alone. We need to help them. We need to help their families. We need to show support, provide education, and provide whatever resources we can so that they can all live a better quality of life and not live in a world where they feel alone.